Welcome to another deep dive. I'm your host, Lily, and joining me today is our resident expert, Ryan. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. It is so good to be back diving into things with you.
Yeah, always. And hey, before we jump into today's mission, we want to ask you, our listeners, to take a quick second to subscribe and leave a like.
Right, yeah, it ensures you won't miss any of the deep dives we have coming up.
Exactly. So today we are essentially doing a masterclass on how to express your preferences in English. We're pulling from our source material to really nail down the essential grammar and vocabulary for talking about what you enjoy doing.
And this is huge because, knowing how to express what you like, it isn't just about acing a grammar test.
Oh, definitely not.
Right, it's about answering that universally terrifying question, what do you like to do? It's basically the ultimate shortcut to getting to know someone and finding common ground.
It really is. I mean, that moment at a party or maybe a networking event where you're standing across from someone you just met and the silence just starts stretching out?
Oh yeah, the weather has been discussed to death.
Right. And then they ask what you like to do, and suddenly, even though you have a whole lifetime of hobbies, you just completely blank.
It is the universal small talk freeze. Your brain just completely crashes. You forget every single thing you've ever enjoyed doing.
Yes, exactly.
You just end up mumbling something about watching TV and hoping they change the subject.
It's incredibly intimidating. But if we can map this out, we can get past that freeze. So let's start with the absolute foundation from the source material, which is just mastering the phrase, I like.
Right. You need a foundation to build on. And the simplest application here is pairing I like directly with a noun.
Just a person, place, or thing.
Exactly. So from the text, you get things like I like coffee, or I like tea, or I like summer.
It's super direct.
Yeah. It's structurally bulletproof,
Yeah.
and it just instantly establishes a baseline fact about you.
But I mean, saying I like coffee can kind of be a dead end. The other person says, me too, and you're back to silence. We don't just sit around liking objects, right? We do things.
Right. And this is where the conversation really begins.
And the source has a really crucial tip for adding an action. There are actually two distinct ways to do it. You can use I like to plus the verb, or I like plus the verb ending in ing.
Which is a really crucial point. So you can say, I like to read versus I like reading.
Or I like to walk versus I like walking.
Exactly. Both are entirely correct and perfectly understood.
Yeah, and the source gives these really great specific scenarios to bring this to life, rather than just the basic verbs.
Right, like reading in the morning with coffee.
Yeah, or walking in the park to see the trees and flowers 3 times a week. Or, playing football with friends.
Which adds so much more detail for the other person to grab onto.
It really does. But going back to the grammar for a second, having 2 ways to say it, I like to versus I like doing, it feels a bit like having sneakers and slip-on shoes.
Okay, how so?
Well, they both get you to your destination perfectly well, but I'm wondering, is one actually better? Because as a beginner, having options feels like it just adds more decisions to make in a stressful networking moment.
That's a logical assumption, but actually the psychology works exactly in reverse. Having 2 correct options reduces the cognitive load on you.
Wait, really? Having more choices reduces the pressure?
Yeah, absolutely. Think about it. Your working memory is already maxed out trying to remember their name and monitor body language. If there was only one rigid rule, your brain would waste processing power making sure you didn't break it.
Oh, that makes total sense. You'd be mentally grading your own sentence before you even spoke.
Exactly. Because both are sound, you just grab whichever grammatical tool comes to mind first. It frees up your bandwidth so you can focus on the actual conversation.
Okay, so once you have that foundation, how do you turn up the emotional dial? Because like is, it's a bit flat.
Right, you need stronger vocabulary to show real passion. And that's where I enjoy comes in. It's definitely stronger than like.
But there's a vital mechanical shift from the source material here, right? With enjoy, you usually use the action with the ing ending.
Yes, almost exclusively. The source gives great examples like I enjoy walking or I enjoy cooking.
Or my favorite one from the text, I enjoy making a simple tomato sauce for pasta.
Yeah, and I enjoy playing with my cat.
Got it. And then moving up to the absolute strongest phrase, we have I love, which just means you like something very, very much.
Right, it's that top tier preference.
The source examples of loving pop music because it makes you want to dance, or loving jazz for relaxation.
Or loving weekends, or loving funny comedy movies that make you laugh.
And loving autumn for the red, yellow, and orange streak colors. So let me ask you this. If like is a friendly wave across the street
Okay, I like this analogy.
and enjoy is like a high five, would love be the giant bear hug?
That is honestly a perfect way to look at it.
Why does that precision matter so much in a conversation, though?
Well, enjoy often points to the active experience of an activity. Like the specific active act of shopping for fresh fruits and vegetables at the supermarket.
It's the process.
Exactly. It signals presence. Whereas love denotes a deep core emotional attachment, like loving your family or loving animals.
It's less about a passing activity and more about a core part of your identity.
Precisely. Choosing the right word paints a much more accurate picture of your personality.
That makes so much sense. It gives the other person real texture. But a real conversation isn't just about what brings us joy, right? It's also about our boundaries.
Oh, absolutely. Boundaries define our shape.
Right. And to paint a complete picture, you have to know how to express the negative. And the source text shows how simple this is. You literally just add, don't.
It's a very clean, efficient way to draw a line.
Yeah. I don't like to play sports, though the text notes that watching tennis on TV is okay.
Right. Or I don't like rainy days.
I don't like coffee in the evening. And of course, the absolute universal truth from the text. Nobody likes washing the dishes.
It's so true. Nobody does.
But there's also that softer nuance we read about, right? Like saying, I don't really like shopping for clothes.
Yeah, adding really softens the boundary significantly.
Yeah.
It signals that it isn't your favorite, but you aren't passionately opposed to it either. It's polite, but honest.
It's a yield sign, not a stop sign.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we also need to talk about hypothetical things. Dreams and future aspirations.
Oh, right. Looking to the future.
And for that, we pivot to discussing dreams using the phrase, I would love to.
The source has some great wanderlust examples for this, like, I would love to visit Italy for the food.
Or I would love to visit Japan.
I would love to learn to play the guitar, and I would love to learn Spanish.
Notice how different that feels from just saying, I want to visit Italy.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out. Saying I would love to feels so much warmer. I want to sounds a bit demanding, almost transactional.
It really does.
So why is framing goals with I would love to such a fantastic conversation strategy?
Because it's an invitation. When you say, I want, you declare a personal objective. But I would love to shares a dream.
It's a bit vulnerable.
Right. It acts as a conversational bridge. It gives the other person an incredibly easy opening to ask follow-up questions and deepen the relationship.
You're doing the heavy lifting for them, handing them an easy question.
Exactly. It's the most generous way you can speak to a stranger.
Okay, so to wrap this all up, we've got a full grammar toolkit now. We have I like to, I enjoy, plus the ing verb I love, I don't like, and I would love to.
And you can literally practice this immediately today.
Yes, please do.
The source material suggested practicing by describing a fictional person. Like an Alex who loves orange juice but hates washing dishes.
Yeah, or you can try using these phrases to describe your friends, your family, or just yourself today. Like just run a mental simulation on your commute.
It's the best way to make sure the syntax sticks so it's ready when the pressure's on.
Definitely. But before we go, there is one final, somewhat provocative thought I want to leave you with. As I was reviewing the source material, I noticed it teaches I don't like, but it entirely skips the word hate.
Yeah, hate is nowhere to be found in those foundational stages.
And I just challenge you to consider how avoiding the word hate in beginner language learning might subtly shape us.
How so?
Well, maybe it forces us to frame our boundaries gently. Like, does the baseline vocabulary we learn first actually dictate the kind of social reality we construct?
Wow, that is a really sharp observation. So by leaving hate out, we're naturally guided toward more positive, constructive, and open-minded conversations when meeting new people.
Right. We might be engineering better relationships just by limiting our negative vocabulary. Something to mull over. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
And just remember that nobody likes washing the dishes.
Nobody. Make sure to subscribe, and we will catch you next time.